We still focus on children this morning on Prime Morning. And right now, it's all about International Day of the Girl Child. We have a lot coming your way right before we get into it, though. Edu Motors, your light has come. Don't you forget, if you want any vehicles, that's where to go. And Neil Bell Real Estate, they'll sort you out with all your real estate issues. But let's get into the conversation. And now, as we host our guests this morning, Ajua Konedu, who is the 2020 champ, the World Coders Championship. She'll be telling us a bit more about that. And Naomi Kuma, 2019 RoboFest team leader. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
You have lovely smiles. We were just talking about World Mental Health Day. Interesting, the stresses we go through even as children. But yes, let me start with you, Ajua. The Coders World Championship. You have won it. What exactly is it? I just want to know, even before I get into how you started on this journey. What is it?
For this particular competition, it's a virtual competition which was made to enable people to communicate with robots from a farther distance. For instance, when you're here and you have a robot somewhere else and you need to operate it, you are still able to control it while it's not necessarily being near it. That's the whole idea behind this particular competition.
So interesting. I mean, you've piqued my interest, and we're discussing these matters because today is International Day of the Girl Child, and some of our girl children, like you see, are doing amazing things. I am here, I don't know jack about coding. I just know that they do this and do that. But how did this interest start, Ajua?
Personally, I never knew about anything related to robotics and coding. But then I got introduced to it in my senior high school.
Okay, which school?
Methodist Girls High School.
Okay.
My daddy told me about it when I was being enrolled into the school and encouraged me to join. After joining, I discovered that I had an interest in it, so I decided to go further and pursue it.
Wow. Wow. And you've done amazingly well. We'll be talking about that feat you achieved only last year, what went into it and all of that. But let me come to you, Naomi. How did it start for you?
For me, I started with robotics when I came to senior high school, which is Methodist Girls High School.
Right.
And before coming to the school, I didn't know anything about robotics.
Nothing
I didn't
at all.
know that there was a field where you can start learning it when you're in high school. I thought that it's something, maybe when you go to the university level, and if it's something that sparks your interest in that field, then that's where you go. But for me, it came as a shock, or maybe a surprise.
Came as a shock?
Yes, that there's a field like that where you can actually partake in high school.
So you came face to face with that shock, but you still ventured into it.
Yes.
What made you feel like, this is strange, but I still want to get into it? What was it? Was it the excitement? Was it the awards? Because your school is famous for, robotics now. Everybody knows your school.
For me, mine is just curiosity. I just wanted to know what it was about, why they're actually introducing this, especially in the girls' school. I was like, okay, this is what they're introducing, working with robots and finding problems. Why don't I just put my hands in it and see where it would take me?
And that's interesting because, like I was sharing with you girls a short while ago, now robotics has advanced to places, and I know in future it's going to get even more advanced.
Yes.
The world is industrializing in other places. You go in airports, there are robots there doing things.
Yes.
And the manual thing, of course, there's a danger because some people too are afraid that the robots are going to take our jobs away. But now that you've got into robotics, would you say when you walk out there, is life any different for you in the sense of the things you see, how you see things?
Yes, it definitely makes me see things differently, because before you get introduced to this sort of field, you see everything to be normal. But then when you go into the field and have different experiences, going through different researches and analysis and everything, you get to find out that, okay, this is what I've been seeing to be normal, but now with what I've experienced, this is not how it's supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be. Looking through detailed stuff, for example, if you are looking at experiencing global warming, like you feel so hot, you think that, oh, because we're in Ghana, we're in the warm zone, so you have to feel, but knowing that the temperature is rising, because of all the research you have done, you know that, okay, you look around, you see problems, people cutting down trees, people burning stuff.
Right.
You know that what they're doing is what is causing the warmth in the country. So everything that you look at does not just go in the normal path for you. You get to see that, no, there are places involved in all these problems in this.
So robotics basically has opened your mind, exposed you to a whole different world.
Yes, it has. It really has.
Look, if you're watching us today, we're celebrating our girl children, and they're doing amazing things out there. I'm so proud of the duo we have in the studio, Naomi and Ajua. But let me come to Ajua now. This bit, I just want to find out from you. We have an in-house tech guy called Spiky Nkrumah, and the other time we're having a conversation about coding, WhatsApp, and all of that. But if you had to break it down for all of us watching, right, and me in the studio, what would you say coding is?
I would say it's just writing a set of instructions.
Writing a set of instructions.
Yes.
It's like maybe going way back and thinking MS-DOS, and you're okay. You guys may not have been exposed to that, but we all learned it as the basics of getting into Microsoft Suite, and you know the C/this colon. That's the same thing, right? But in this sense, you're writing certain instructions for a program, for a robot, for stuff like that.
Yes, please.
So tell us more about this virtual championship that you had, and you were the champion last year. Did you expect that? Did you see it coming?
Honestly, no. Because when you hear of the people participating, even from our own region, compared to other regions and stuff, you think that, nah, you don't have any chance you don't have a chance against them to even go from this country, like to exceed, pass your mates, win the national before you go to the international. So honestly, I didn't think that I would be part of the champions. But anyway, I decided to give it a try to see what my hard work will gain me.
And look where it took you. Look at you, all smiles this morning. Hard work does pay. So walk us through the process. What was it like? Where did you have to start competing from? Within your school? I'm sure within your school there's competition about who will even, I don't know, represent, or you were representing your school?
I wasn't the only one.
Okay.
We are a group of people, so we started in the school. But before the competition, there was a training, a boot camp.
Right.
So during that training, we were assessed, and then the best out of us were picked.
How many were you?
We were 15.
15, right.
We were picked to represent our school. So after that, after the boot camp, we entered the competition, and there were stages in the competition where each group, we were divided into 3 groups among the 15 of us, 5 in a team. So amongst ourselves, we competed, we shared ideas, we explored, like we made researches, we tried to understand the rules concerning the competition before we did anything concerning our code. That's how we were able to excel.
Right. What were some of the other, countries, groups that you were competing with?
There was China. There was USA.
China is known for these things, robotics, code. You beat them?
Yes, please. There was USA.
So who says Ghana can't do it? You beat the Chinese?
Yes, please.
You beat the Americans?
Yes, please.
Which other teams did you beat? Let's see and know how well you did.
There was China, there was USA, there was Ghana as a whole.
Right.
And there are other countries like France, and some of them I can't mention because there were just a few teams from it, and they were put in different regions.
Right.
So you can't differentiate them.
That's amazing. Tell me, what specific project did you work on? What was the project that you won you this award?
Okay, so I wanted to clarify something over here with this platform given to me. The coverdz is different from robofest.
Okay.
So coverdz deals with coding alone. And the program wasn't held because of COVID-19.
Right.
But the ideology behind it is to be able to control something without you being here. For example, in the olden days, to convey a message, you have to walk to a place to go and report.
Right.
But now, because of the availability of phones, you can still convey the message with someone over there. So that's how it's supposed to work. Me being here and still being able to communicate with my mom somewhere else, or me being here and still be able to communicate with my computer, my robot somewhere else to perform a task for me whilst I'm not there. That's the ideology behind this competition. So that's how it is.
Right. I want to ask this right before I go to Naomi, lest I forget, and I'll have a lot to ask you as well. I don't want to forget this, Ajwa. What do you want to become? I'm just feeding like a sponge on the things you're telling me, and I honestly see a very bright future. The things you're saying and all of that. How old are you?
I'm 16.
16.
Yes, please.
Wow. What do you want to make of all of this? Do you want to pursue it?
Yes.
What do you want to do?
I want to go to the field of engineering, but there's one thing about me. I want to try everything. So I haven't made my mind on what part of engineering or what type of engineering I want to pursue.
Whether it's going to be electrical, mechanical, maybe you even go into full-time robotics.
Yes, please.
Wow. Okay. We pray you get the right guidance and God helps you as well to get there. But let me come to you, Naomi.
All right, sir.
So you're a global winner. The two of you are winners. And I'm just, I'm the presenter here, but I'm in awe sitting in your presence. You won this award. How much did it mean to you to actually come out tops globally in 2019?
Honestly, it meant so much to us because although we had different tasks ahead before this RoboFest, this one was a whole different challenge. It was a whole different task. We've never been introduced before. So for us to get the perfect results, it took us a lot. When I say a lot, I mean a lot of work, sleepless nights, huge research, like amount of time taken from our classes, no holidays, away from home. And
it's interesting because you still have your academic work to deal with, and you also have to do your research and get your project done.
Yes. So for us winning this competition, it was, I don't know how to express it in words for somebody to actually understand, but it was a big relief because it really paid off our hard work.
Wow. Wow. And so you won the competition and you're basking in the glory. But there were teams before you from your school, right?
Yes.
There had been teams before, so at least you had shoulders to, ride on.
We had two teams representing Ghana, but before we went to the international stage, we had to compete through the national competition.
Yeah. So for you, which other countries? I mean, Ajwa has mentioned they were facing off with China,
well, obviously
the United States.
There's China and there's US. I'm sure for every other competition in the world, you're always there. We also had South Africa to be there. We had India. For the rest of the countries, there are a lot, but for them, they're in different fields. But for the main game, we were with US. Most of the teams were from USA, China, South Africa, and we also had Ghana teams.
Right. So having won this award, I noticed when you started talking about the things you see now when you go out, the things your eyes have been opened to. How do you feel the things you're doing now can actually impact, change our society from global warming? And in our part of the world, temperate, tropical region, the heat and everything, we feel it more here. We feel the brunt of it more here. What are some of the things that you see that you feel, Naomi, I should be, moving forward? How about developing something to aid my country, Ghana, and maybe the whole world in that direction? I mean, are you thinking along those lines?
Well, I am thinking along those lines, but for me, in order to take a step to work on something to prevent another thing, it all has to do with discipline. If you do not have a disciplined crowd, you can't move forward. You want to engage in a plan to, let's talk about global warming first. You want to engage in a plan to reduce it, but then if you do not have people who are disciplined, it's hard for you to control. So that's how I'm going to put it out there.
That's the bottom line for you.
Yeah, that's the bottom line for me. It's all about discipline. And if you're not willing to work hard and take risks to achieve your goal, then what are you doing? What exactly do you want to start with? What plan do you want to engage in? What achievement do you want to get in all stuff?
I also know that across the world, and especially in our part of the world, women, girl children face a lot of challenges. So many of them from home to school, to different places. I'm sure even some people would, a girls' school and robotics.
Yeah,
and do you get that?
Yeah, we got that, especially from boys' school. Whenever we're competing with them, they actually thought we were not the ones programming. They would say that, we actually paid a man to come program for us.
Some of them said that?
Yeah, we really got a comment from the boys' schools, and it was really annoying for us because we know we did the work. They couldn't accept the fact that a girl team were able to overtake them and beat them to the ground, and that's it. I just don't know why they can't accept the fact that we girls actually worked hard to get what we worked for.
You showed them.
Yeah, we definitely did. Yeah, we definitely showed them.
Has it been same for you? Similar experiences?
Yes, please. Even with our predecessors being there, winning from the same school, the same thing has happened to us in the sense that first they were doubting our predecessors. So definitely they will also doubt us because they still don't understand. They don't want to comprehend that we are predecessors and also we have won for the second time in 2 different competitions. So we're also facing the same thing. Even until now, when we go to places and people recognize us, they are too shocked. They are very shocked to believe that a girl is able to do that. And I think that this should come down. Because if this comes down, more girls will be encouraged to pursue whatever they want to do, even so that nothing will be made that this is a male-based something, so you shouldn't participate in it. What if your interest is there? So if this is brought down, if this stigmatization is brought down, I believe that a lot of girls will pursue their interests.
What do you think can be done about that? Maybe the Ministry of Education and others. I mean, generally, we all need to rethink how we even contemplate girl-child education. In the past, it was, she's a girl, she's even going to just get married and let's keep her in the kitchen. All that has changed, but more change is needed, right?
Yes, more change is needed.
How do you think that change can come about? Let me come to you, Naomi.
Honestly, that change can come about from the girl herself.
From the girl herself?
Yes.
From you, from Ajwa?
Yes. Yeah.
From others?
When you were born, you were not introduced to boy life, girl life, man land, woman land. You were not introduced that way. Every opportunity is given to anybody. And as a girl, if that opportunity is given to you, it's up to you to take that step to grab that opportunity. You should be focused in what you want to pursue. You shouldn't deviate into any other direction. You shouldn't deviate to any other person. Although in life, there are different stages you have to go through. Working from home, going to school, going to work, knowing what you want to be in future. You also need guidance. You need guidance. That's why we have mentors. Ms. Coffin can be somebody you can look up to work ahead. You cannot just say that you're going to reach that level, but going alone, no woman or no female can go through the highest peak alone. You need somebody to guide you, somebody who is very strict. If you don't have somebody strict guiding you, then I'm sorry. You would actually find your way lost.
Wow. Before we get to the tail end of our conversation and talk about today, why we're even here in the studio, International Day of the Girl Child, I just want to find out from you. You know of Sophia?
Yes.
The robot.
Yes.
AI. It's interesting because it wasn't even tied to this conversation. I was just reading, and I stumbled on Sophia. She's actually a Saudi Arabian national.
Yes.
She performs multiple tasks. She joins panels to talk about robotics and stuff, and it's all AI, artificial intelligence. And she's now contemplating having a family and a baby. And I was thinking, whoa, that's where it's getting. Are you scared by some of these developments? I mean, what do you think is the future of robotics? I'll start with you, Naomi.
For me, with the whole Sophia field, at first when I saw it, I found it really scary.
Scary?
I found it weird as well because trying to make a human, but in a machine form, also having that conversation of having babies, I don't think for her it will be possible because, for me in that field, I'm still working around that to grab that information.
How do you feel about artificial intelligence? You think we're going too far? We're trying to play God?
I don't know if I should answer through the religious or with academics.
Answer anyway.
For religious, I feel like actually we are going a little too far.
We're going
Like,
a little too far.
God has not graced us with the ability to create life. He gave us life to take care of, not to try and be a creator on His creation.
Ajwa, what do you think about that?
I side with her on this matter in the sense that when you're saying that, like for example, Sophia, she contemplating on having a family. If you are to give Sophia a family, it might either be adoptive, human adoptive, or they have to rather create more AI to facilitate her, to be with her. But then they will also want to have another family. They want to recreate like human beings. This particular AI is built to behave like a human being and to learn. So whatever it does will definitely be like humans. So what if it falls into the wrong hands?
And they say they're going to make a number of them moving forward, just like Sophia. That's the scary bit.
Yeah, for me, I started training young ones, and when introducing them to robotics, the first question they asked me is that, please, are the robots we are going to build, are they going to be tall like you, short like us? And I'm like, oh no, it's not that, because I'm watching in the movies that when the robot's eyes are red, that means they're going to kill you. And I'm like, that is not the case. So the young ones now, because of the movies and cartoons they watch and looking at today's life, how they're trying to relate the thing is somehow causing fear in them. This one girl did not want to partake in any robotic activity because of what she has seen and how the world, because you've watched a movie where robots are actually destroying human beings, and you look to today's life, there's actually a robot that looks like what has been shown. So out of that fear, it's somehow causing hindrance to the young ones coming up.
Okay, let's quickly do this in about 20 seconds. What next for you in terms of robotics? What next?
I want to further my knowledge in robotics. I want to try various fields. I want to be able to gain knowledge in bits of knowledge in the various fields of robotics, so that I'll be able to check, to analyze which one I want to do, and then also I want to go and become someone who will also encourage others to join in this field. I want to be someone that someone else will look up to. That's what I want to be.
Okay, what next for you?
For me, I'm already in the university. I am full focused on robotic engineering. I've loved it when I was in high school, and I don't think I'm stopping anywhere. I am full ahead focused in what robotics has to give me.
You're going the full haul.
The full way into robotics, because I feel like how this world is moving, if you don't go according to the pace, you fall back far behind. And I'm trying to help this country go through that same pace.
One thing I know though, and I feel this is an opportunity to reach out to you, because you've heard of brain drain, right?
Yes.
So a lot of our good people, those who are sharp, oftentimes end up in the very countries you competed with and beat.
Yes.
The United States and the Chinas and the Japans and the West, but we also have it. How do you feel? How patriotic are you in that sense? Because yes, your personal interest and development may take you to those countries, but are you contemplating, for example, using whatever know-how you get to come back and make Ghana better? Are you thinking of that? Is that really something you think of?
You can't move to a certain place where you're not welcomed.
You can't move to a place where you're not welcome?
Where you're not welcomed. I feel that this country is finding it's not really adapting into the robotic or STEM system, because if they were really willing to adapt it, they will actually motivate. They will actually show support into this sort of field. Having to be a girl, for example, being in this field, I'm not motivated.
You are not motivated?
Like, let's say I'm not motivated to actually do this field. What am I going to do for the country if you're not being with me along the way, being by my side, supporting me, helping me move ahead? How can I come back to help you?
Wow. I mean, it's so poignant, it's so real, the way you express this. And I know at least there have been plans to you know, I remember from, was it earlier this year or late last year? I think it was earlier this year. You know, the Education Ministry, Dr. Yareduchum, your sector minister, and plans to roll out certain institutions which would also have STEM focus, you know, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and all of that. But in the interim, you don't feel supported. Is that how you feel as well?
Yes,
you don't feel
please.
that support in the system?
Yes, please.
And you can have the STEM foundation about, if you want to start, you should be all in. You should be strong in it. You should commit yourself to it. You know exactly what you want. So as a nation, you need to come together. It shouldn't be just Ministry of Education doing it. It shouldn't be just Ministry of Finance doing it. If you know this is what your country wants, it's better for all ministries. If you're talking about ministries, it's better for all to put everything into it, because you know what your country wants. You know what is better for your country. You know where the world is going. So
I'll tell you one group that is solidly behind you, the multimedia group.
the multimedia,
We're
right?
here for you. We're here for you. We're here to support you, and we'll keep pushing. I just feel a bit, it just touched me, the way you're reacting, that you've not got the support, not on the national level, not on the educational ladder, and it would be so easy. I mean, let's be practical. It would be so easy for you to end up and maybe even naturalize in some other country, but I pray that doesn't happen. I pray that we do the right things to keep you here, so that you can, because look, we talk about industrializing. How are we going to industrialize without the likes of you? Think about it.
Yeah, it's really.
I have my role to play. I am doing that. I'll do even more. You have your role to play as well.
Yes.
And we have to do that for Mother Ghana.
Yes,
So
we really
let's
do.
put Mother Ghana up there.
Yes, really.
Let's keep shining that light.
All right.
I want us to wrap up the conversation of International Day of the Girl Child. And that is why we're even here
All right.
in the first place.
Okay.
As girl children, we've addressed some of the problems you face, even sometimes the doubts that you can do it. Amataidu has a story, short story, The Girl Who Can.
Yeah, the girl
And
who
other
can,
stories.
yes.
Have you read that?
Yes, I
Yes,
have.
please.
Right. How do you feel on a day like this in Africa, in Ghana, International Day of the Girl Child? What are some of the burning issues you would like to talk about, Ajwa, that you would like us to address?
What I would like us to address first is education.
Education.
Education has to be the backbone of every country, whether for the girl child, the boy child. Everyone has the right to education. There's a stereotype about, which you just mentioned, about women's place in the kitchen. In the coming years, personally, I myself, we've been writing a lot of debates on it, even as works, exercises, and also others have had debates on it in public, that a girl's place is not supposed to be in the kitchen. But as thing is put in a debate, there are always some who are for and against the
Right.
motion.
Right.
So we have to rather make more people know about the importance of being against the motion than for the motion. Also, as girls, as we all know, the population contains much more girls than boys.
Yeah.
So if you're telling me the girl child should be in the kitchen and the boy child should go and be educated, do you mean that if there are no boy children, the girl children, what would we do?
Wow.
In a sense that the girl child, most of us have potential because of what we go through, even mentally, physically, emotionally. We have will, we have the potential.
True.
So they have to put us on the same par with the boys, so that we'll be able to explore. We'll be able to also help the country in various ways, and that they should reduce the doubts about us. They should rather have faith in the girl child. Because one thing about humans is that once there's a little bit doubt, you begin to doubt yourself. And then that brings down your potential, that brings down your zeal and everything. And also one thing about doubt is that when someone doubts you, the person will tell someone else that this person didn't do this. And it will go on spreading that way. So they should rather encourage that we, the girls, also have the same opportunities as the boys.
Right. Let's push the girl child, basically. Yeah. For you, what would be your parting comments on this day, International Day of the Girl Child?
On this day, I'd like to say that we females, we ladies, should actually spread our wings.
Spread your wings.
Spread your wings, because the feeling to fly, it's amazing. And from flying, nothing can actually stop you from going up. We need to work hard, stand our ground, and place on our facts that if we want to do it, we can do it. No matter what the challenges that are going to come our way, we can surely get there if we actually put our mind to it.
You know what my parting words would be for you? It's the same thing I tell myself and tell other people. You know how they say the sky is the limit?
Yes.
I tell people the sky is just the beginning.
Honestly, yeah. I actually...
There's
Why
a
should you
whole
limit
universe
yourself to the
out
sky
there.
anyway?
True.
There's the entire cosmos.
The galaxy.
sky is just the beginning. And for you
Yes.
too, trust me, I'm not just saying this because we're on air. You're doing amazing things. Things that I would have wanted to do as a child. You have the opportunity. Seize it, make the most of it, and may God richly bless all the work you're doing. You're doing fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining the conversation. And let's always know how you fare. Don't forget Mother Ghana.
Yes, please.
So we've been joined by Naomi Kuma, 2019 RoboFest team leader. She's been gracious enough to join us in the studio. And Adwa Kunedu, 2020 coverdz World Champ. And I'm sure we're all inspired by those stories. But there are more coming your way as my colleague Emefa Aditi takes the hot seat. We're going to be hearing from more of them who are doing amazing things on International Day of the Girl Child. Do stay.